and regulations set forth by the United States Coast Guard. For your safety, please do not stand on the benches, sit on the backs of the benches, or lean over the rail. And if you have children in your group, please keep them in sight at all times and have them walk by the vessel and not. There's always the possibility of encountering rough water, so when moving up and down the stairway, so please use the handrails at all times. Life preservers are located in labeled compartments throughout the boat, and life rafts are located on the back of the second deck. In the event of an emergency, crew members will assist you in their use. There is a snack bar located on the second deck, or excuse me, on the main deck. So if you're hungry or thirsty, or think you might get hungry or thirsty in the next few hours, I suggest you get a drink or snack now, because there are no food or beverage services on Alcatraz. The park is stroller friendly, and the road to the top is probably much like the hills you've encountered in San Francisco. So if you have a mobility impairment of any kind, we do have a tram on the dock available for your use. If you need to use that tram, I recommend staying close to the door so you can be the first one off the boat when we dock. The tram is limited to those with mobility needs, so if only one person in your group needs to use the tram, we ask that the rest of the group stay with the tram and walk with it as it goes up the hill. You're visiting Alcatraz during an exciting time. We're doing a seismic renovation project up there, and it's been in the works for years, and we're really excited to have it going now. Because of that, though, there's a couple areas of the cell block that are closed off, the dining room and the hospital. But there's a number of other opportunities available to you throughout the night. The Cell House audio tour is not impacted by that at all. It remains as compelling as it always was.
Perfect.
We're strengthening it so that in the event of a major earthquake, it will be safe for our visitors for years to come. Remarkably, the buildings on Alcatraz sustained very little damage during the 1906 major earthquake in San Francisco, probably largely because Alcatraz is a rock, solid rock, and there's no shifting ground beneath it. In addition to your audio tour tonight, which by the way we suggest that you get up there and do right away, there's going to be a number of programs. When you get off the boat at the dock, there will be a bulletin board in the dock office window. When you walk by, you can take a picture of that. It will also be located in several other areas as you go up the road and in the area where you pick your audio equipment. There's Alcatraz looming out there in the distance. So much more than a federal prison. Thousands of years ago, as the glaciers melted, a hill in the valley became an island in the bay. There wasn't much to it. It was just a rock in the water, encrusted with the remnants of thousands of years of bird inhabitation. No fresh water on it. And that was one of the reasons why the birds loved it. They could lay their eggs without worrying about mammal predators because of the fact that there was no fresh water. But there were no plants on the island either. It was just a barren island in the water out there. And nobody really wanted it. No countries laid claim to it until 1848. Gold and silver were discovered in the hills of California, and all of a sudden Alcatraz becomes a hot commodity, located right there in the center of the San Francisco Bay. 2 years after the discovery of gold, California became a state, and the military, wanting to protect that gold and silver coming out of the hills, decided to build Fortress Alcatraz on the island, as well as fortresses on each side of the Golden Gate Bridge. So they built Fortress Alcatraz from 1953 to 1958. Sadly, I shouldn't say that. Actually, nobody ever attacked Alcatraz. So eventually they start, and actually in the 1860s, during the Civil War era, Alcatraz functioned as a de facto military prison. And at the same time, they were collecting prisoners from all around the San Francisco Bay Area. And their prisoner population was growing. And since no one ever attacked, their focus started to shift from the fortress years of keeping people out to the military prison years of keeping people in. And finally, in 1907, Alcatraz was formally designated a military prison. Their population of prisoners had grown so much that they decided they had to build a more substantial jail. So that's when they built that prison at the top of the island, the cell block that you see out there, which is where you're going to be doing your audio tour later tonight. The audio tour is a tour of that cell block at the top of the island there. So that cell block was built by the military prisoners that were on the island at the time. And then they moved in. So in fact, those prisoners had built their own prison. Alcatraz functioned as a military prison from 1907 to 1934, at which point the military made the discovery. It was probably a gradual process that they realized it was just too expensive to run Alcatraz. Every drop of water that they had to use had to be bought out there on a barge and stored in water towers or cisterns. And they made the curious choice of deciding to do all the laundry for the military bases all around the area. I say curious because, as I said, there wasn't a drop of water on the island. It was extremely work intensive and very expensive. Ultimately, one of the reasons that they shut down as a military prison. So Alcatraz shuts down as a military prison in 1934, and here comes the Federal Bureau of Prisons. It was actually, the military sold Alcatraz to the Federal Bureau of Prisons with the little caveat that they would continue doing that laundry. But the Federal Bureau of Prisons envisioned Alcatraz as the nation's first supermax facility. There it is, sitting in the middle of the San Francisco Bay, San Francisco Bay acting as, in fact, the world's biggest boat, complete with currents and sharks, the whole 9 yards. He said, wow, yeah, we can make Alcatraz into the first supermax facility. Interesting point there is that almost every prisoner at Alcatraz was there not because of their original crime, but because they had caused problems at other federal institutions. Perhaps they tried to escape, that was pretty popular, or they got in fights all the time, or maybe they were influential enough to get other prisoners to participate in food strikes and work stuff to get more prisoner rights. So Alcatraz actually functioned as a Federal Bureau of Prison supermax facility from 1934 to 1963. That's a brief period of 29 years of history. And it's from that history that Alcatraz has gained all its fame. Most people don't even know about the military era of Alcatraz. You're going to see a lot of that when you get out there. Whenever you see red brick as you're going up and down the island, know that that particular aspect of Alcatraz was built during the 1800s by the military. As we approach Alcatraz, I want you to pay attention to those cliffs. Alcatraz was originally shaped like a turtle, just sloped into the island. But the military wanted to thwart any potential invaders, blasted out the cliffs all the way around the island. The only place accessible would be at the dock, which you're going to see on the other side of the island when we land. It's getting a little dark.